Good morning, everybody. Hope you are well, hope you are safe, and hope you've had an amazing week. And I hope that you remember from last week that God is always with you, God loves you very much. Now, it is quite easy to forget that God is always with us, especially during this time. Some people might think, oh, where is he? Where is he in all of this? Today, I've asked Savannah to help us out a little bit.
Hello.
And I've got a word written down here, Savannah, a word that I've just mentioned. Could you read it for me?
Nowhere.
Yeah, it says nowhere. Because a lot of people are thinking, God is nowhere. I can't see him. I'm missing his presence. I don't know where he is. But then you could look at another way. And with those same letters, it also says, what does it say on this one?
Now here.
Now here. See, we've got nowhere or now here. Same letters, but very different thoughts. And to help us remember that it's really good to have God with us, to remember that his presence is with us and that we can get through things with his presence, with him being there with us, I'm going to show you a little something. We're going to try out a little experiment. Right, Savannah, so I've got her help. I've got a plate of coins, as you can see, and I'm going to ask Savannah with your right hand to pick one coin at a time and just put them on the side. And we're going to see how many you can do in 15 seconds. Okay, so I'm going to time you. I've got my timer. All right, are you ready? So one coin at a time. You want to put it down. Okay, I'm going to hold it up so people can see. Okay, and go. Two seconds and stop. Yeah, that was very good. Okay, shall we see how many she got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We got 12 coins. Let's put them back in. Right. Now, I want you to hold up your hand like that and put your thumb like that. Haha.
Oh.
Now, right. Okay, sorry. I'm going to have to do it like that. Now, let's see how many coins you can pick up without your thumb. Okay? Are you ready? Let me reset the clock. You're going to get exactly the same amount of time. Okay? You ready?
Yeah.
And go.
I can
It's another. Oh, good. Well done. Still got a bit of paper in my mouth. Oh, time up.
Ow.
Time up. Time
So
up.
not bad.
How many did you get? Two. 2 coins. Well done.
That was because
All right.
sellotape was on it.
It was a bit trickier to do it without your thumb, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And that's how it is with God's presence. We need God's presence. Like Savannah needed the presence of her thumb. She needed the thumb to be there to do that tricky bit of picking up all those coins. In the same way, we need God in our lives to get through tricky bits or through times when we have a little bit of difficulties, or actually basically through anything in life. It's better to have him there with us. All right, thank you so much, Savannah, for your help. There's also a story from the Bible that I would like to share where there was a bit of a scary moment, but it's about Elisha, and he remembered that God was with him, and that helped him to get through it. All right, so let's take this off.
Oh,
Is that off? Yeah. So that's off. All right, so thank you very much, Savannah. And then I'll tell you the story of Elisha. All right, thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye, everyone.
Okay, so yes, Elisha's story in the Bible reminds me also very much of how he remembered that God's presence is always there. God is always there with him, and so we don't need to be afraid of anything. And he remembered that. And basically, the story can be found in 2 Kings chapter 6, if you want to go and have a read at home about it, but I'll tell you briefly what happened. So what happened was that Elisha, he was a prophet from God, and God gave him messages to tell to the people, and in fact there was an enemy called the Arameans, and the king of Aram was always trying to attack the Israelites. But God would tell Elisha what the plans were before the king would be able to attack them. So all the plans fell into water, basically. And so the king, he found out that it was Elisha who was at the root of this, who always found out from God what was going to happen. So the king decided, this Elisha needs to be gone. I need to get rid of him. I'm going to kill him. So what he did is sent off his army to go kill Elisha. Now Elisha was in a little town and quite far away from the Israeli army. So he didn't have a whole army with him or anything. He was in a little town. And so in the meantime, when the king sent the army in the middle of the night, and so when Elisha woke up, his servant got up out of the house and, oh my goodness, he saw this huge army in the fields and on the hills, just a huge army with chariots and horsemen. And so obviously the servant was like, oh my goodness, he was terrified because he knew, what chance does he and Elisha have against all of these men? So he went inside and he told Elisha about it, and Elisha's like, oh, don't be afraid. There's way more on our side. Now, I imagine the servant must have looked at Elisha like, are you mad? Are you crazy? What do you mean? There's just two of us and there's no way we can get the Israeli army with us. And look at how many there are of them. And so Elisha prayed. He asked God to open the eyes of this servant. And you know what happened? God answered the prayer, because when the servant looked again, he saw not only the other army, he saw a whole army of angels, way more than the Arameans' army. He saw a whole army of angels with chariots of fire. And so then he also knew, there was, he did not have to be afraid. And indeed, God fought for them that day, and the Arameans were defeated, the Israelites won again. And it just shows that Elisha, he wasn't worried at all because he knew God was on his side. And with God, there's nothing to be afraid of if he's got God with him. So please remember that for this week. That when God is with you, you don't need to be afraid. So it's always good to be aware of his presence, like we did with the thumb. You can just get through so much more and do more things if you've got God with you. So I hope you remember that for this week. See you next week. Bye-bye.